Well, thank you for being here, everyone. It's a pleasure to speak in front of everyone. I've been with Keller Williams myself for about 8 years, so it's, hey, how's it going?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I'm at the urban office on Bathurst and King. So I actually have been with them for 8 years. Started out at the Bayview and Steele's Royal LePage branch when I got into the industry. Then I moved over to Royal LePage, West Village, and been with Keller Williams now for 8 years, just shy of 8 years. So this is all about, whoops. What is that? This is all about online lead generating and basically how you guys can really use the internet and social media and some really cool strategies that I'm going to teach you to build your business online in a very powerful way. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about who I am and why I'm sitting up here. So I've been in the industry for 11 years, and when I first got into the business, much like yourselves, I tried everything. Door knocking, cold calling, I joined networking events, I had my weekends robbed doing open houses every weekend, and basically just threw everything against the wall and eventually really found my calling with technology. And I like to say I embraced my internet geek. So I figured out that the internet was not going away. This was about 5 years ago. In fact, there was a tidal wave that was quickly approaching all industries really. And I knew that I wanted to be riding that wave as opposed to beneath it. So I was proactive and I really kind of dove in headfirst with online marketing, digital advertising, with a focus on Facebook ads and Google AdWords. So initially I had hired a marketing company that was providing me with leads every month, and I was paying them, I think it was around $500 or $600 a month. Part of that was an advertising budget and part of it was a management fee. And they were providing me with leads, and I was working with people all over the map. I mean, I told the rep that I had hired that I wanted to focus on downtown Toronto. That's really my market, condos and lofts and urban homes. But I was getting leads from Barrie to Bolton to Mississauga and everything in between. $200,000 budgets, people that really weren't qualified to buy a home. Yet I saw the potential. I saw that, you know, this could be better, this could really work. And I was fascinated with the whole thing. So we had these bi-monthly coaching calls where she would check in with me, see how the ads were doing and what my results were. And I would ask her questions. And I just started to kind of connect the dots. I'm a very curious person. I like to know how things work. So I started asking questions. I started really connecting the dots and just kind of figuring it out from a bird's eye view perspective. And then I got more curious. So I ordered a book on Google AdWords by a guy named Perry Marshall, who's one of the gurus of online advertising. And I read that book cover to cover within the first weekend, and that really set off my journey of really diving in head first. So then I started reading a bunch of books. I was like a mad scientist at home, like watching all these YouTube videos and reading blogs and books, and I started to kind of figure it out, and I started getting results. Within about 4 or 5 months, I still had the internet marketing company that I was working with, but within 4 or 5 months, I was at the point where I was generating about 3 to 5 leads a day, and it was very consistent. And at that point, I didn't need them anymore, so I let them go, and I was off to the races. Since then, my business has grown significantly. I doubled my business twice since then, not just from online leads, but online leads have become about a third of my business. So I do a lot of open houses, I have a lot of repeat and referral, but basically agents started to notice. I would get asked, you know, for help. People would stop me in the halls and say, "What are you doing? I'd love to learn more." I started doing seminars through KW at my office. Agents from other brokerages would hear about it, from Royal LePage, Remax, Home Life, word was spread. So then I ended up doing a paid version of that seminar. Instead of an hour and a half, it was 3.5 hours. So I went really deep with live examples. The demand continued to grow. I did 4 more of those seminars. And then I had agents coming to me saying, "I live in Mississauga, I live in Vaughan, I don't want to drive downtown, parking, traffic, do you have a webinar?" And that's when I realized that I had to take this online. So I've spent the last 14 months building an online course, and it's called Future Proof Agent, and a brand, and really a company. And I just launched about 8 months ago, and it's basically what I've been presenting throughout this presentation. I'm going to be referencing the actual modules from the course. And basically that's what brought me to where I am. So I've been presenting all over the GTA and I'm excited to be here. So here are the major benefits of digital marketing. I think it's important to understand, like, why should you care? You know, what's the whole point? So there are a few big ones, in my opinion, that really separate this form of lead generating from other types of lead gen. The first one is reach. So you can literally reach thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people in a very short period of time. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be emailing you a copy of this PDF slideshow. If someone can just grab a sign-in sheet and pass it around with your email addresses, I'll be sure that you all get a copy. Thanks a lot. So the reach is incredible. I mean, literally thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people within a very short period of time. There are currently approximately 3.2 billion people online. That number is projected to grow to over 4 billion by the year 2020. So the internet is just becoming more and more, you know, necessary, and it's really become part of people's everyday life. So you're targeting with online leads, which is really exciting. Now what that means is, with most traditional forms of lead gen, like door knocking or cold calling, you're sort of turning over rocks. You know, you're throwing Hail Marys, and you're hoping if you throw enough Hail Marys or if you turn over enough rocks, you'll get some interest. With online marketing, you can actually target people based on, you know, their interest level, people that have shown that they're searching for specific real estate phrases, which I'll show you later, people that are likely to be moving, people in transitionary periods of their life, people that are married, people that are new parents, people that are expecting their first child. All of this information is actually available. So you can put your message in front of the right people. So that's really exciting because it's much more efficient. Now you can spend your advertising dollars more efficiently. There's something called pay per click, which I'm going to demonstrate today, which means you only pay when someone clicks on your ad, right? Versus a billboard or flyers where you're spending that money regardless. With this, somebody shows intent, and only when they show intent do you actually pay. So that's really exciting too, because you're spending a lot more efficiently. The other benefit is that it's measurable. So if you think about it, you can't improve what you can't measure, right? It's hard to really make calculated business decisions unless you can measure the results of your advertising dollars spent. This is completely measurable. You can measure everything. You can see what's working, what's not, what are people responding to, what messages are resonating, and then you can use the data to make change and adjustments. The other thing is that it's automated. So you can systematize your whole business. You can build essentially a machine, which I'm going to demonstrate, where once you have a good foundation and your advertising is going and people are registering, filling out their registration forms, and you're getting their contact info, you can automate the whole process. How many of you watch Shark Tank? Does anyone know Kevin O'Leary? Yeah. So one of his favorite expressions is pour gasoline on a fire and grow, and that's really what you can do with this. I've generated to date over 4,000 leads, which has translated into about $307,000 in gross commission income. It's about a third of my business, as I said, so it's not my whole business. But the really cool part of that is 70% of that closed commission was passive. So it was from working with strategic partners where I was just the lead provider, providing leads. I had neighborhood specialists in Etobicoke, in Gore West, in King West. I had a team of pre-construction agents. I was generating the lead, and then I was taking a passive referral fee. So there's lots of different ways that this opportunity can scale, and that's really exciting to me. So that creates leverage, because now, when you have automation and systems set up, the time that you save on cold calling and door knocking gives you the time to actually focus on converting, right? Because people are coming to you now. Because every time you go out and knock on doors or cold call, like, you're spending hours out of your day, right? So those are the real benefits that I think make this an exciting opportunity. So there are really some big myths that I like to kind of dispel right off the bat when it comes to internet marketing and online leads. The first one is that every lead is an opportunity to pursue. The reality is, just like cold calling or door knocking, it is a numbers game, and the quality is in the quantity. So you need to generate enough leads that, you know, the motivated people will surface. You'll be able to kind of sift through everything and find the people that are ready to transact. And that doesn't necessarily mean today, but that means eventually. The next myth is that I need to spend a ton of money, I can't afford it. The truth is, when I got started, my budget was $5 a day, so that was $150 a month. This was about 5 years ago. I didn't have a ton of disposable marketing dollars. And then I only reinvested once I started getting results. So once I started getting some leads come through and it was consistent, and I was actually connecting with people, at that point I raised it to $10 a day, which was $300 a month, and that was more than enough to give me some traction, and then I could reinvest from the closings, and it would build organically. The next myth is that if I don't get results in 3 to 6 months, it's not working. The truth is, just like farming an area, just like doing a flyer campaign, just like door knocking or cold calling, you have to give it time. Give yourself a full 12 months, play the long game. The results are in the follow-up, and you have to give it enough breathing room. There are some people with online leads that are ready to transact right now. I've done deals within one showing, especially with pre-construction lead generating. There's only so many units to be sold, so you can get people on paper quicker. I'd say the majority are probably between like 8 to 12 months. So like just within that sort of 4-month window. Some of them I've closed within 24 months of signing up. Some of them I've closed within, like I said, the first round of showings. But you have to give yourself enough room. You know, you can't just expect an instant payoff. The next myth is that I don't need to call people right away. The truth is, speed to lead is critical. The phone is king. You have to really get on the horn as soon as someone signs up. You have to be quick with your follow-up and really be on the ball. And then the final myth is I can just manage the leads as they come in. Now that might be true in the beginning when you have a couple dozen leads, but once you get a couple hundred, which can happen pretty quickly, once you hit the sweet spots, you need a proper CRM to stay organized. You need to be able to really run your database efficiently, have follow-up systems in place. So there are two sort of camps of online marketing. On the left side, you have organic, which is things like search engine optimization, content, blogging, Instagramming, and then you have pay-per-click. And pay-per-click is, you know when you see the sponsored ads in your newsfeed on Instagram or Facebook, those are pay-per-click or Google AdWords, when someone's actually searching for something, and whatever the search results are on the bottom of the page and the top of the page, those are pay-per-click. Now, they're very different. Organic is when you're relying on content, when you're blogging, you're writing articles about specific issues and topics in the market, and you're trying to get picked up by Google organically through their algorithms. Basically what it means is you're trying to get recognized by Google that you're important and your topic is getting traction. The problem with that is that it takes a long time to get on the first page of Google with organic, and it's very much an art. There's no real science to it. It's kind of like you're hoping that you're getting traction and you might get on the first page. It could take 9 months to get there, but then if Google changes their algorithms and rewrite their code, you can get bounced from the first page to the third or the fourth page like that. Okay, now it is cheaper, but on the other hand, pay-per-click is more of a science. I've had my ads show up on the first page of Google literally within an hour and a half of going live. So it's very fast and you have complete control. It's pay to play, so it's a little more expensive, but I would rather build my business on something that I can control, right? Even if it's gonna cost a little bit more, I wanna know exactly where my advertising dollars are going and how I can control my destiny. So I focused entirely on the pay-per-click model, and that's what I'm gonna teach you today. So this is kind of a bird's eye view of how the marketing funnel works. If you think about a funnel, it's wide at the top and it gets narrower and narrower as you drop down. So at the very top, you want to send traffic to your ad. What that just means is people online. So you have an ad and you have a message that you want to resonate with people. So when someone sees your message, they're interested, they click on your ad. That's step one. Step two is they get directed to your website. Another way of describing your website is your landing page. I'm going to show you what makes a good landing page shortly. Once they arrive on your landing page, they get offered something of value in exchange for their contact information. Think of it like an ethical bribe. You're offering them something of value. It has to be something that you can send in a digital format. For example, access to a listing, access to multiple listings in a specific neighborhood, access to the top 5 cash flowing triplexes, access to a free PDF report on how to prepare to buy your first condo. But it has to be a soft offer. It can't be, you know, meet me for coffee, book a showing. That's not what works at a high level because that's too forward. You want to make a soft offer, something that's non-threatening, that people can easily consume by email. And I'm going to show you some examples in a moment. In exchange for their contact information. So you're offering something in exchange for someone's name, email address, and phone number. That's the point at which you generate the lead. And once they register, they get automatically imported into your contact management system, and then they get a thank you email acknowledging them that they've signed up, and they get put on a drip email campaign sequence, which essentially is a series of pre-written emails that they'll get automatically to keep you top of mind and to engage with them. So this is the same thing, but just a bird's eye view. Somebody clicks on your digital ad, it could be on Facebook or Google, they get directed to your landing page, they get offered something valuable, listings, top 10 investment properties in their area, etc. In exchange for their info, they get imported into your CRM, and they automatically receive a thank you email. That's the process, okay? And this is a highly effective methodology that works across different industries. It's not just for real estate. I've taken everything I've learned and I've put it into a real estate context. And everything I show you today are things that I've personally done in my own business. So there are two giants when it comes to online advertising. These are the big ones, right? Facebook and Google AdWords. Now, with Facebook, you're targeting people based on their curiosity, okay, and their lifestyle, their age, you know, where they live. Are they single? Are they married? Are they engaged? Are they expecting children? Do they like daycare pages? Are they tied to a specific school district? Do they like luxury items? Do they like yachting and country clubs? All of this information people voluntarily share about themselves. And call it controversial, but the reality is this has created one of the biggest advertising opportunities we've ever seen. And it's very effective because you can put your message in front of the right audience. Okay, so you're basically targeting people based on their interests, their demographics, their lifestyle. So it's more of a push and sort of a demand creation, or you're trying to, you know, push that demand forward. It might already be there. You're trying to kind of, you know, push them along the conveyor belt. Whereas with Google, there's actual intent. People are searching on Google for Hyde Park homes for sale, Mississauga detached homes, King West 2-story lofts. They're searching, they're actually Googling for something, and you're just beating a path to your door, right? So Google is more pull, okay, whereas Facebook is more push. Google is sort of like demand fulfillment. The demand's already there, you're just fulfilling it, you're beating a path to your door. Now with Facebook, the ads are much more flexible, so you can use images, videos, they're much more interactive. With Google, the ads are less flexible. They're pretty much just text, because Google has some more rules that you have to abide by. And Google's a little bit pricier, Facebook's a little bit cheaper. So that's kind of the breakdown of how they both work, and I'm going to show you some examples of each. So here's a quick word on budgeting. You want to start small. You only want to increase when you start getting results. There's an expression that actually Gary Keller coined called red light, green light. And what that means is you only want to reinvest once you have results. So when I was starting out, I was comfortable reinvesting once I was working with people, right? Once I had clients on the go, showing properties. If you want to be safer and more conservative, only reinvest once you have firm deals and commission on the way, right? But you want to start small to get some traction, because in the beginning, there's going to be some trial and error. I give you best practices and things that have worked for me, but you still want to experiment with different ads in different neighborhoods and different headlines and different, you know, call to actions and messages. So you don't want to overspend in the beginning. $5 to $10 a day to get some traction, then slowly, incrementally increase. Your goal should ultimately be $5 to $10 per lead. I spend about $8 per lead between Facebook and Google. And cost per lead isn't the only thing that you should think of, because you can get dirt cheap leads that are terrible quality, like people that are searching for real estate on Google or homes for sale. You know, what does that mean? Where do they want to live? You know, they haven't specified a neighborhood. So it's very generic. Those leads are very cheap, but I would rather spend more on someone Googling Hyde Park homes for sale or King West lofts. Does that make sense? Because they have intent. So cost per lead doesn't tell the full picture. You want a mix of cheap, but you want quality as well. So $5 to $10 is a good range to shoot for. It will be higher in the beginning. When I started, I was at about $20 a lead, and then I got it down to $15. Now it's at about $8, and the quality is consistently really good. So, like in the advertising, you want to be consistent. Don't expect instant payoff. Don't treat everything equally. Decide which areas and types of leads are worth more and adjust your spending. For example, I would rather spend more. I farm a complex called Sudbury Street. It's across from Liberty Village off of King West. And I would be willing to invest more for those leads because it's my farm, right? Or let's say you're targeting Forest Hill buyers or affluent luxury buyers. You might be willing to spend more per lead versus a first-time buyer where the commission is significantly different, the price point is different. So you want to make those business decisions. So always measure, adjust, and improve. The data tells you what's working and what's not. Okay, so use the data to make educated decisions. Don't just set it and forget it. You want to test different ads, headlines, photos, and really track the results. And the beauty of this stuff is that you have access to all the data, so it takes the guesswork out of it, okay? And the data will guide you. You want to scale the ads that are working and cut back or scale back on the ones that are not working. Don't assume anything. The results speak the loudest and the numbers don't lie. And the 80-20 principle is really something that applies here. How many of you guys are familiar with the 80-20 rule? So 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. And with advertising, you're going to find that if you have a bunch of ads running, 20% are going to be significantly better than the other 80. You want to find those 20%, figure out which ones are working, and then you want to push those ones stronger. Now, I'm going to show you a quick example of the marketing funnel in terms of how the pieces interact. So this is my course. This is actually Future-Proof Agent. I'm going to be referencing this throughout the presentation. So here's the first example.
So here's a simple example of the marketing funnel and how the pieces connect. So someone scrolling through their news feed on Facebook, they see this ad. Just listed, King West townhome with stunning kitchen. Want to receive the listing? Just click here. They click on the link. It brings them to the landing page where they're offered something of value in exchange for their contact information. Just fill out the form below to receive the listing.
You see how simple
so
this
that's
is?
the call.
What most agents do is they send people to their homepage where it's like buy a home, sell a home, invest in a home, meeting for coffee, meeting at the office, Mississauga, King West, pre-construction, renting, Hamilton, Barrie, I got you covered, right? They try and be everything to everyone. That's the complete opposite of what you should do. Somebody sees an ad, okay, marketing a King West townhome, and you only want to show them that King West townhome, right? So you want to make sure there's consistency in your message, and that's the only thing you're showing them. This is dead simple. It just has a couple of blurbs and a couple of highlights, but you're leaving people wanting more. There's one photo. I don't even disclose the price. Everybody wants to know that. I've intentionally withheld the price because I want people to move forward. If I show the price, and it's out of some people's budgets, I have no way of helping those people and connecting with them. This piques people's curiosity, and it's human nature. You're only giving them a few little teasers, but you're really leaving them wanting more. And this works really well because most agents just give away the farm. Here are 30 photos, here are the taxes, here are the dimensions, here are the days on market, here's everything you could possibly need, and then they'll say, want to see the place? Call me. If you do that, you're leaving the power in their hands, right? You're leaving it up to them to contact you. Most people online are very timid and passive. They're not necessarily ready to buy this home today, but they will be buying a home eventually. So why not cast a wider net where you can help those people, send them the listing, that's the offer you're making, and then follow up, engage in a conversation, and build that relationship.
The landing page. where they're offered something of value in exchange for their contact information. Just fill out the form below to receive the listing.
And then
So that's the call to
there's
action.
the form, it's very
They
simple.
fill in their info.
There's nothing else for them to do. It's a singular focus.
They hit submit. So now let's see what it looks like in our email. So now we've received 2 emails. The first one is letting you know as the agent that you've received the new lead. So the lead has automatically been imported into our contact management system or our database, and then we receive a notification letting us know that we have a new lead with all the information they submitted. The second email is what your lead would receive. So assuming this is their inbox, they would get an email thanking them for registering. And again, this happens automatically once you set it up that way. And they receive the item of value. Now in this particular example, the item of value is the listing. So that's what they registered for. It was to receive the listing, and then they click on the link and it takes them right to the listing. So that's the bird's eye view of the funnel and how all the pieces fit together.
So this is a very simple example, but you guys see the steps and how they work. So someone sees your message on Facebook, they click on it, it piques their interest, they arrive on the landing page. It's not the home page of your website, it's a specific landing page with one purpose: to get someone's contact information, to make an offer. Anyone interested in this message would like the listing. That's the next logical step. It's non-threatening. You're not asking somebody to see it or to sell it to them or meet you at the office. You're saying, hey, do you want me to email you this listing? Right? So it's non-threatening. It's a soft offer. You're coming from contribution in exchange for their contact info. Now that's the first example with Facebook, if you're marketing a specific listing. And now I'm going to show you an example with Google AdWords if you're marketing a type of property or a neighborhood. And this is using another platform called Agent Locator. How many of you guys are familiar with Agent Locator? So Agent Locator is great. I've been using them for a while. They're not paying me to say that. I've just been very pleased with their system, and I'm going to be referencing it throughout this course. So this is an example with illustrating the same steps but in a different way.
So I'm going to walk you through another example of the online marketing funnel, but this time using Google AdWords instead of Facebook, a type of property that we're promoting on the landing page instead of a specific listing, and also using a different contact management system called Agent Locator instead of Weebly. And what I want to demonstrate here is that you can mix and match different approaches and different tools to ultimately achieve the same result, which is to generate a lead. So the first thing is someone is in Google and they're going to run a search. And there's my ad on the top of Google. Not bad. Toronto lots for sale, top 5, find me at torontohome.com. Free photos and virtual tours. Sign up for daily email alerts on new listings. So that's the offer that I'm making people. They click on the ad, and it brings them to the lofts for sale landing page.
So it's just lofts.
So they're getting exactly what they want. They typed in lofts for sale in Google, they clicked on the ad, and now they're on the lofts for sale landing page. So the focus of this page is listings. They scroll through the photos, they see something they like, they click on it, and then this is what's called forced registration. So they have to register in order to access the listing. And the message up here is being reinforced. That was in my ad. Get instant access to all properties for sale plus daily email updates. Registration is free and takes less than 20 seconds. So again, there's that consistency in my offer. So they put in their information, and then they click sign in, and now it's asking for their name and cell number. And then click register and view all photos. And then this is just asking them to agree to the terms of use, to use the virtual office website features and property listings. Agree. So now they have an account registered and they can access all of the listings and view all the information. So they can browse around, virtual tour, mortgage, calculator, walk score. They can request a tour of the property right from here. Now I'll show you what it looks like on the agent side.
Whose website is that there?
That's mine.
So now we're...
So my site, Find Me a Toronto Home, is my main resale lead generation site. So the reason it's not branded around me is because I was working with partners in different markets. Like I had someone in Etobicoke, in Mississauga, King West. So it was sort of like an aggregate site where people would sign up for information, and then I would work with the neighborhood specialist with that particular client. And then I was getting a referral fee. So that's one angle when you're generating leads online. I wasn't branding myself in a specific neighborhood. I have my own site. I have a few sites. So this one is my main one, addressing Toronto. Now this one is just basically like sort of like a LinkedIn profile where people can read about me, testimonials, my current listings, my marketing. But this is not to generate leads. This is just if somebody heard of me, like let's say a past client, somebody mentioned my name, they're Googling me. So this is my presence online. But this site, Find Me a Toronto Home, this is basically an informational style site where people can just get information on homes. Now, my information is at the bottom just to be RICO compliant, but it's way down here in the fine print. It's not, I'm not branding myself. This is all about access to listings, because most people that are searching online, the main thing they want is listings. And not everyone's going to realtor.ca, right? So this is a site that is built with all these different communities, and each community is tied to a different ad. So if I'm advertising Thornhill Homes for Sale, I would direct people to the Thornhill Homes landing page. If I'm advertising Ronces, I would direct them to the Ronces landing page. And this is powered by something called IDX. Are you guys familiar with IDX? So it auto-updates. That's what's great about this, is that it auto-updates in real time as new listings come up. And then as soon as they see something they're interested in, it prompts them to register. You can brand yourself with this site. This is an agent locator site. I've just chosen for it to be more of an informational hub because I was working with these partners. Does that make sense?
You're speaking past tense.
I'm still working with a couple of partners, but this was when I had like 6 or 7 partners across the GTA, and I was very focused on that. I've since pulled back because I'm focusing on this course, and I'm still actively selling as well. So I'm still like a full-time agent, and I actually farm like the King West Sudbury complex. I have a listing now, and I still do open houses. Like this is not all I do, but this is about 1/3 of my business. Yes.
What were you using for Facebook ads? What, Weebly was it?
Weebly was the other website for the individual property.
Right.
So when I'm marketing an individual property, I use Weebly because I like the design features. It's drag and drop. It's very easy to use, and also with pre-construction. So I worked pretty extensively with a pre-construction team, and we did about 3 dozen transactions with one particular builder across various projects. Riverside Square, 75 the Esplanade, we did quite a bit there, and for that I used Weebly as well, because it's really savvy, it's drag and drop, it looks really polished for like the modern millennial buyers. This is what I use for resale lead generating because it's connected to IDX and it auto updates.
And all of this.
Does that make sense? Right? So this is great for people that are actually Googling like Rossendale's homes for sale, Hyde Park homes for sale. Somebody with intent. They're not looking for a specific listing, they're looking for information in these respective neighborhoods, right? So that's why I use two for different approaches. You don't necessarily have to use Weebly and Agent Locator. That's what I want to demonstrate is that you can mix and match. Another one is called Wix, which is really good, similar to Weebly. Very inexpensive, drag and drop. I like Agent Locator because they have a very powerful CRM system. They have like a really nice layout, it's simple, and it's reasonably priced. So it's a great starting point, and I've stuck with them for 5 years. So basically, somebody has filled in their information in my Agent Locator account. Now I'm in the back end.
Inside our Agent Locator database, and you can see that my info has come in as a new lead. 1 minute ago, contact information. Now I'll show you the email that I receive as the agent, and also the email that the lead would receive welcoming them. So now I'm in my email account, and I've received 2 emails. The first one is what you would receive as the agent, notifying you that you have a new lead in the Agent Locator system. And the second email is what the lead would receive, and it says, "Welcome to Find Me a Toronto Home. Hi Jason, thanks for registering at findmetorontohome.com. So you're thinking about buying a property. How exciting. I specialize in working with downtown urban buyers. This is my area of expertise, and my goal is to ensure that you receive unusually great service. I will be staying in touch with you to see how you're finding the listings that are coming through, to make any adjustments, and to help you through the next steps. Hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to assisting you." So again, that email got sent out automatically once they registered, and that lead will continue to get a series of automated emails that have been set up to run for a specific period of time.
So you guys see the sort of the stages and how they work together? Does that make sense? Somebody signs up, they're looking for information on lofts, they arrive on the lofts for sale landing page. When they click on a listing, it prompts them to register. It's called a gated offer in exchange for their contact information. Once they sign up, they automatically get a thank you email acknowledging them, which is really important to make that first impression. And then you're getting on the phone as soon as possible. This does not replace the phone, of course. The phone is still king, but this complements the phone, right? Because if you have leads signing up every day, you know, you can only call so many people at any given time, but they're all getting emailed automatically. So those emails have been pre-written, and they've been set up to go out when certain things happen, when somebody registers, and then you space them out every couple of days. And I'm going to talk more about email automation later in the presentation.
Are you actually using, oh, sorry.
I just had a quick question. So when
Sure.
they're subscribing and they've agreed to receive information from you?
Yes.
And you don't have to worry about
No, they've opted in. So
Okay.
once they opt in, they've basically given permission to be contacted by email.
Right.
And if someone, they always have the option to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And
And is there some point in time where you have to resubscribe them after a certain period of time? Or?
no, they'll stay in the system, and they'll just keep. I have people that are still receiving emails for 5 years, and I've actually converted some of those, like 24 months in to when they initially signed up. And it's really exciting with this email automation because so many people screen their calls. They don't answer their phone if they don't know you. I feel like these days you have to get permission from someone to schedule a phone call, right? Like you text like, hey, when can we have a phone call? How's 7 o'clock on Wednesday, right? With this stuff, it's really powerful because you're building a relationship passively, right? They're getting the emails, and then you can combine video with these emails. Have you guys heard of BombBomb?
Yeah.
So I've actually integrated BombBomb with Agent Locator to create video automation where you can film a few videos, and I'll show you an example of that. And that's even better because now you're putting your face in front of someone, you're showcasing your personality. So then when you make the call the next time and they see your name on their phone, they're going to be a lot more inclined to pick up, right?
Does this tell you when they've opened the email?
Yes.
It does.
That's also a really powerful feature. You can see when they've opened the emails, what listings they've looked at, how many times they've looked at the listing. Some people have looked at a specific listing 25 times because they're obsessing over it. Sold, right? And then you can call them and say, hey, you know, this property, I was thinking of you, I think it would be perfect. Why don't we go and take a look? It's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The data is really, really powerful.
So,
So
are you using Gmail though? For
it's forwarded to my Gmail, but it's just connected through the CRM.
the CRM is actually going through some kind of like
Through Agent
SMTP or something
Finder.
like that. You're not using like I would think, because are you tracking emails, like the opens and the, you know, the click-throughs?
I track, no, I don't track the opens and click-throughs through Gmail. I track it through CRM, through Agent Locator.
But the mail
It just forwards.
is it just going out from, you know, at yourlastname.com, or is it going out at gmail.com?
No, the emails go out from the Agent Locator email address, but then you get them in your Gmail inbox, so it's just forwarded.
Okay.
So if somebody initially receives the email, you can change that though. I mean, that's like a simple fix. I never really bothered, and I don't think it really makes a big difference. But you can brand that and then still have it work within Agent Locator. So that's a little bit about the landing page and the steps. Now, a few more words on the landing page. The number one goal of any lead generating site is just to get their contact info, period. So again, offer an item of value in exchange for their contact info. You must have an opt-in feature so people can register. Separate everything into specific landing pages. So as I demonstrated with my Find Me Toronto home site, I have Ronse's, Mississauga, King West Condos, like every single ad and message has to match the corresponding landing page, so they're only getting what they're looking for. Like I've gone as far as to separate Hyde Park detached from Hyde Park semis, right? So I've really kind of split it up, because the more specific you can deliver something to someone, the better the response will be. And don't run multiple ads and direct everyone to the homepage. That's what I see. You're just wasting your money. Like a bunch of ads in different neighborhoods, and then you send everyone just to your homepage where people don't know what to do. You're not giving them what they want, right? If someone's searching for King West Lofts, and you're sending them to a page where it's Mississauga homes, Vaughan homes, a little bit of downtown, you've lost them, right? People have such short attention spans, especially because about 60% of traffic these days are people searching on mobile, and they have a very small screen. So you want to instantly give them what they want. So make it very simple. Keep it dummy-proof, as I've illustrated. The simpler, the better. You really want to hold people's hands. You want to show them what to click, what to do, so it's seamless. There's no confusion. And it's got to be mobile optimized, which just means it has to be formatted to fit your mobile screen appropriately. And most modern websites have that by default. So, anyone know this guy? And why he's the 5th richest person in the world, according to Forbes magazine, worth $60 billion? I think he's only 34. Does anyone want to venture a guess? Why is he worth so much money? Why is Facebook such a valuable company? Right. So this is the reason why. So sharing is an advertiser's dream come true. The reality is that Facebook has built a platform. All of their revenue is from advertising. That's 100% their business model. So they've created a platform where everyone shares everything about their life voluntarily. How old they are, where they live, if they're single, engaged, married, if they're newly married, newly engaged, if they have children, if they're expecting children, if they like to travel, their shopping habits, if they like Art Deco and design and, you know, sort of modern, like architectural digest, where they like to eat, like you name it, right? If they like pages related to real estate, mortgage loans, condominium investments. So Facebook is a platform for advertisers where you can show your message in front of the right audience, as opposed to just, again, throwing Hail Marys and putting up billboards that are really expensive on the Gardner, or, you know, doing a pricey flyer campaign. You're showing your message to people that are already receptive because of who they are, if they're in transitionary periods in their life. So there's two types of advertising. There's pay-per-click and pay-per-impression. Pay-per-impression is when you show your ads, you pay for every 1,000 times the ads are shown, and pay-per-click is when you only pay when somebody clicks, which is what I recommend. And it's basically an auction system based on your bid and your relevancy. So what that means is you're competing against other advertisers that are bidding on similar audiences, okay? But it's not just about who has the highest bid. If it was about who had the highest bid, the person with the deepest pockets would always win. But it doesn't work that way. You have to have a competitive bid, but you also have to have a high relevancy. What that means is your audience has to be resonating with your message. So there's a misconception. Most people think, I want to show my ads to as many people as possible, but that's not what works. What works is when you show your ads to a smaller audience that's more receptive. So for example, if you're marketing a home in the Junction, you want to show that ad to people in the Junction, Hyde Park, Swansea area because people are tied to the community, lots of people that are renting, maybe their kids are rooted in the school district. They're going to be a lot more receptive than if you show that ad for the Junction all over the GTA, right? Because every time your ad shows on someone's newsfeed and somebody does not click, you lose relevancy. So every time somebody clicks, you gain relevancy. So you want an audience that's targeted and that's really going to be receptive to your message. So that's kind of how it works. The ads can be images or videos. So why advertise on Facebook? The incredible power of targeting, as I mentioned, age, location, interests, marital status, job, etc. You can literally design your client. You can, think about who you want to show your ads to, who you want to work with, who resonates with that message. And everyone uses Facebook. There are over 2 billion monthly users worldwide. The power to incorporate photos, slideshows, and videos is really, really interesting and enticing. And the ads are integrated into someone's newsfeed, so it's easier to get people's attention because you're putting your message in front of where their focus already is. And you have really powerful data to measure the results and improve. So, creating a Facebook ad, the first thing you need is a business page. I'm going to assume you guys all have a business page for the most part. Now, you don't have to actually use that business page, although you should, but you just have to have it created in order to run a Facebook sponsored ad. You want to choose your targeting carefully. Who are your customers or your potential customers? What are they interested in? How old are they? Where do they live? And then you want to aim for a potential reach of 20 to 60,000 people. Now that just means how many people you're going to show your ad to. Again, if it's too large, you're going to lose relevancy score. You have a relevancy score between 1 to 10. And if it's too large, you're going to get a lot of irrelevant clicks or no clicks at all. And then Facebook will actually penalize you with a higher cost per click. So the less relevant your ads are performing, the higher the cost per click and the higher the cost per lead. The better your ads are performing, you're going to get a cheaper cost per click. Facebook will reward you, so there's an incentive built into the system because they don't want people to get spammed. Does that make sense? That's why it's really good to make sure your ads are relevant and people are clicking. And how do you know if they're relevant? Because it tells you. And I walk you through in my program what to look for and how to see if you're on track. So your ad must correspond to what they get when they land on your site, as I've shown you. You want to choose your budget, automatic versus manual. Manual is recommended and it's cheaper. Automatic is a little more expensive. It's easier, but it's more expensive. And you want to choose your delivery platform. Where do your ads get shown? Mobile and desktop are recommended. So now I'm going to show you a demonstration of a quick Facebook ad from.
What other options are there than mobile?
So there's the side banner. There's Instagram. So Instagram, Facebook owns Instagram. So Instagram is just a box that you tick if you want your ads to be shown on Instagram. There's something called Audience Network, which is like affiliated websites. And then there's in-stream videos, so under videos that are trending. I've tried this and experimented extensively, and the best vehicles for placements are newsfeed and mobile. That's where you're going to get the best response.
And not Instagram?
No, Instagram as well.
Okay.
So Instagram depends on, in my opinion, the audience. Like Instagram is more for like younger millennial buyers and sellers. Facebook is kind of everyone. If you're targeting a condo and you're going after like first-time buyers, Instagram is very powerful. Or like a nice urban loft. But if it's more of a traditional single-family home, Facebook is going to be superior. So I use Facebook regardless for everything. And then sometimes I will actually use Instagram depending on the audience, right? So I'm going to go into Facebook now. So this is the Facebook section. It's about 4.5 hours of pre-recorded video content from beginning to end, setting up your business page, why Facebook ads, how to boost a post, which is really quick if you just want to get off the ground running. And then the ads manager, how to create photo ads, video ads, carousel ads, pre-construction ads, targeting sellers. So I'm going to show you an example of creating a video ad. So this is basically from beginning to end.
So now I'm going to walk you through an example of a video ad. Now for this example, I'm going to switch gears and focus on more of an urban, downtown, contemporary property. So we're back to the Ads Manager homepage, and I'm going to choose traffic again because we still want to direct people off of Facebook onto a landing page, and I find traffic to be the most effective and the easiest to start for that. So I'm going to select traffic. We're going to call this one
So this is
Close
inside
over
the Ads
601.
Manager.
So this is going to be advertising a specific listing.
So this is if you have a
video ad.
specific listing that
So
you
the
want
ad
to
set
promote.
name is going to be the same, just the address.
So this was a listing I had in my farm in Sudbury.
So now we're going to select the location. Again, it's defaulted to all of Canada, or if you're in the US, it will probably be defaulted to all of the United States, but you don't want that. You want to narrow that down. So that's the first step. So we're going to X this out. I'm going to type in Toronto just to find the address. And then I'm going to narrow in to find the exact location. And then we're going to drop a pin, which again is the center point of the radius.
So this is who we're showing
We're
our
going to
ads
drop
to.
this radius down to only 1 mile because it's a downtown location. There's a lot of density here, so we're still able to target a lot of people with only a 1 mile radius. So now we're down to 140,000 people, but remember that's still way too many. We want to get it down to ideally under 50 or 60,000. So now I'm going to choose the age range. This is going to appeal more to first-time buyers. So I'm going to say 27 to, let's say, 37. Language is English. So we're at 61,000 people, but we need to select the targeting. So again, where are these ads going to show up? Who's going to see these ads? So the first thing I'm going to say is people that are interested in condominiums.
So that's a category.
That's actually a
Condominiums.
category.
People that
It's
have
great. 'cause
liked
it's a condominium
pages or
townhome.
joined groups related to condominium.
How about
This is
people
a
that
condo
are
townhome.
engaged? Relationship status.
So people that are in
People that are
transition,
interested
they're
in mortgage
engaged,
loans. We
looking
used
for
that in the last
a
example.
property,
I
many
think
of
that's a
them,
great one.
mortgage loans.
And this is really up to you. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just being creative, thinking about who would likely be interested in this particular property in this location, thinking about your target market, the demographic. Next, I'm going to say people interested in real estate. What about King Street? Is that, I think that might be, there we go. So people
2
that are
million
specifically
people
interested in
have
King
shown
Street, because
interest
this
in
property
King
is
Street.
right off of King Street, which is a really popular street in downtown Toronto. So people that are already fans of the neighborhood. We're at 25,000 people right now. And what about people that are interested in homes. Or townhouse. So townhouse is actually a category, over 16 million people. So that's a good one. So we're at 26,000 people. We've got people that match one of the following. Engaged,
One or more.
interested in pages related to condominiums, Toronto King Street, townhouse, real estate, or mortgage loans.
Would you ever just say seven?
That's pretty good. And again, you don't
That's
have...
not a category.
Oh, you
I
can't, it's too
checked.
small.
It's too
Okay.
small.
Okay.
Sometimes if it's too niche, it
Yeah.
won't actually show up as a category.
Got it.
The other thing is, each category shows you the reach. So you want to have a category that has at least 1 million people, and that's globally. Because if it's less than that, it's just not going to really make a dent,
Fair.
right? So you want to have a big enough category where it's going to actually show your message to those people.
have a very
Your
extensive
filter,
list.
your filter, that's an intersection, not a union, right? So it's not this or that, because then you'd have a much larger set.
So this, basically, at least one or more have to align, right? So they have to have shown interest in at least one of these or more. You can do what's called layering, where they have to match one of the following plus one of the following plus one of the following. So you can actually layer the audience as well. And I show you how to do that in another video. But with these are actual categories that I've personally used for this listing. Like, even just one of these is gonna really create a warmer audience, right? Someone that's just likes condominiums because they have to live within a 2 mile or a 1 mile radius of the property. So they're already like local residents. And like I said, when you start local, you just get a lot more receptiveness, right? Because people that, they like the community, a lot of them are renters, especially like in Liberty Village. Because I know from experience, a lot of people buying these townhomes are renting in Liberty Village. They want to stay in the area. So even if they just hit one of these, condominiums, mortgage loans, engaged, that's already going to create a warmer audience than if we don't select anything. And they might actually match more than one. But again, you can layer as well.
So people that are already fans of the neighborhood, we're at 25,000 people right now. And what about people that are match one of the following? Engaged, interested in pages related to condominiums, Toronto King Street, townhouse, real estate, or mortgage loans. That's pretty good. And again, you don't have to have a very extensive list. You want to have some variety, but you don't have to have, 10 or 20 categories. You can just have a few good ones to have some good results. And there's no right or wrong. It's not an exact science. This is a matter of trial and error. Sometimes when I'm designing my criteria, I don't get it right the first time. And I have to go back and make adjustments, and that's okay. That's how this stuff works. So don't expect to nail it every time right out of the gate, because you might not, and that's fine.
These are
It's
categories
all
that
about
have
testing
worked really well for me
and
consistently.
making adjustments.
with-
to see
You
what
created
works.
them, right? You-
I didn't create the
No,
categories, the
right.
categories are existing. I just applied them.
Right, okay, so like King Street, was that there? Or?
It was already there. I didn't create any of these. These were already in Facebook as a category. I'm just thinking, who would be likely to be interested in this property? So in one of my other videos, it's a completely different example where it's an Etobicoke traditional single-family home, and the criteria is very different. It's more like people that like daycare pages, families, married couples, right? Where it's not their first property, maybe they're moving up from a condo or a townhome, right, to a more expensive price bracket. So it really depends on the property, but in my program, I give you like best practices and things that have worked for me for a variety of properties. So for a traditional single-family home, for an urban starter, first-time buyer condo, for pre-construction, for luxury. So I go through a bunch of options that I personally work through. Yes, sir.
When you do trial and error on an ad, you put on an ad, when do you decide it's not working? You wait a week?
Great question. I think you want to give it, you don't really have to wait a week. I would say like 2 or 3 days to really see how it's performing.
And what's an example of A bad and a good.
Great question. So there's something called a click-through rate, okay? And the click-through rate is a percentage. It's a ratio. Now, it's the number of times people click divided by the number of times your ads are shown. It gives you a percentage. Let's say your ads are shown 100 times and you have 1 click, okay? That's a click-through rate of 1%, right? Anything over 2%, you're doing better than the majority of advertisers. I'm at about like a 4.5 to 5% click-through rate. If you have over 2%, that's considered strong. So that's a way to gauge your performance. When you're starting out, the threshold is a 2% click-through rate is when you know your ads are performing well, and then the better they perform, the cheaper they become. Facebook actually rewards you. But if you're under 2%, that's how you know you have to make adjustments. And this is not just coming from me, this is what I've learned from other experts in marketing, and I've studied people from Perry Marshall to Frank Kern to Jeff Walker. I've read a bunch of books from like the 1900s, and although they didn't have the internet back then, they talk about ways to gauge your performance. Like, how do you know when it's not working? Otherwise, you're just shooting darts blindfolded. So in the digital age, that's how you know the click-through rate. So number of clicks divided by the impressions, which is basically the number of times your ads are shown. And I walk you through that in my course as well, how to measure your results and how to know when it needs to be adjusted.
The course you're referring to, that's all those videos you've been
Yeah,
showing.
so I have a program called Future Proof Agent. I think you weren't here for that part when I first started.
Yeah.
But I have an online course. I'm referencing this course. All these videos are from the course. And I'm going to talk more about that at the end. But yeah, basically, you need to know how well you're doing. Otherwise, how can you measure your performance? So I talked to you about, cost per lead, that you should stay within a range, cost per click, and then click-through rate. Those are the 3 that you want to track. Great question.
So is this ad that you're posting, this is the one that's taking people to your landing page?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that part right now. So this is for King West Townhome. So we've done the targeting, and now we're selecting the placements. So where do we want our ads to be shown? So I've selected the news feed, and for this I'm going to show it on Instagram because it's a younger, sort of millennial target market that is going to be interested. This place is really modern, it's really cool.
Edit the placements to have my ads show in the Facebook newsfeed. And for this example, I'm going to choose Instagram as well because this property is extremely modern. It appeals to the Instagram demographic and target market. Instagram is very sort of cool, it's very visual. This property is extremely cool, sexy, it's got that real modern, urban appeal, so I think the Instagram demographic would be a good fit for this. Whereas with the previous example of the Etobicoke single-family home, that might not work as well on Instagram because it's going to be generally catering to an older demographic and it's more of a traditional style. So you have to think about, Facebook is sort of everyone, right? Facebook covers the entire spectrum, but Instagram is more for the younger, sort of millennial, I would say mid-teens to mid-30 demographic. So keep that in mind. It has to fit with the type of property that you're promoting. I'm not going to select audience network or messenger, so we're just going to do Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds. We're at 26,000 people. So now I'm going to select my budget. I'm going to say 10 bucks a day. I'm good with that. The bid cap is $1, so I won't spend more than $1 per click as a maximum.
That's what you're
We're gonna
bidding
get
per
charged
click.
for it.
So you're saying to Facebook, I'm willing to bid up to $1 per click. It doesn't mean you're going to spend $1. It means that's the maximum that you're willing to bid for every time somebody clicks. And that's a good starting point between $1 and $1.50. And then based on the traction that you start getting, you can just watch the results. And if you're getting a bunch of leads and your ads are performing well, you can keep it as is. If you're not getting much traction, then you can slowly start to raise this price. But I usually start between $1 and $1.50.
Does that mean
starting up to the $10, people are gonna be clicking up to $10
Correct.
that day,
Correct.
and then it shuts
Exactly.
down until it's.
Exactly. So once you always set a daily maximum just to protect yourself. And once you reach that daily threshold, your ads will stop running.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So that would be 10 people who click on your ad and
If
stop.
it's-
Yeah, if you're maxing out your, exactly, if you're maxing out your bid, then it'll be 10 people. Usually you don't max it out. Like I might get a couple clicks at 70 cents, a couple at 80, maybe 1 or 2 at 90. It
Yeah,
depends
so
on.
your daily spend will be like $8.37 because that's just the way that it all works out. It doesn't.
Well, you might spend like $9 on one day and like $11 the next day.
Yeah.
Over the course of the month, it will
Yeah,
balance out,
yeah, it
right?
does.
Sometimes it'll go over by a couple bucks,
Yeah.
right? Exactly, because it depends on that
Yeah,
specific click.
because I remember having done this previously, there were some times where you'd see like $8 and then the next day would be $12.
Exactly. But even over the course of the week, like it pretty much neutralizes, right?
Our ads are going to run continuously, and the delivery type is standard. So this ad is going to be shown evenly throughout the day. So now I'm going to click continue, and now I'm going to actually design my video ad. So for the ad name, I'm just going to keep it consistent. Use the address again. It's going to link to my real estate business page. I'm not going to add an Instagram account because I'm just going to have it displayed under my business name, Jason Weinberger - real estate agent in Instagram. So there's no need to add an account. Now for the format, I'm going to select single video as opposed to image or carousel or slideshow. And again, collection is more for e-commerce.
So this is the format of the ad?
So now we're going to upload our video. So I'm going to hit this plus sign here and find my video. So here we go. Now keep in mind that if you're showing your video on Instagram, Instagram will only show up to the first 60 seconds. So I've actually shortened this video. I've sped it up, so keep that in mind. Facebook, there's no limit, but on Instagram, it's up to a minute. So the video's uploaded. I'm going to start punching in the rest of the info here. So the website URL is the landing page.
So this is where I'm sending people when they click.
So I'm going to copy.
And see how it's the same format? This is a different unit. This is another one that I sold, but it's the same style. So the address, a couple of features, 2 bedrooms, huge den, single level, a killer photo. You have to have good photography, and it's really like the best shot of the home, like the main room, magazine-worthy finishes. And I put that in bold. You want to create an emotional experience for people, right? People act based on emotions. You don't want to just list the specs. What's the wow factor? What's the real selling feature of this property? Incorporate that into your landing page, and then leave people wanting more. Want to learn more? Just fill out the form below to receive a listing.
Leave this URL.
So that's what we're actually directing
This is
them
what it's going
once
to
they
look like.
click on the ad.
12 Sudbury Street, number 601, 2 bedrooms, huge den, single level, and magazine worthy finishes.
And again, you see how simple it is? There's nothing else for them to do. They can browse around and
This is also
see
designed with Weebly.
some of my
and
solds,
registration
about me,
form below.
but that's not the
So
focus
that's
of the
when I'm
page.
directing people when they click on the ad. Now I'm going to enter the text and the headline. And for this example, I'm actually going to put the headline in the text box because I want to direct people to the link, and I'm just going to design this one a little bit differently from the last one. So I'm going to say, stunning King West townhome for sale. Exclamation point. You want to be excited. You want to highlight the emotionally charged words. So stunning, I'm going to put in all
You always
caps.
want to infuse
Just to get people
emotion
excited.
into your ads.
Exclamation point, and then I'm going to say, wants to receive the listing, question mark, just click here. So very straightforward, and then I'm going to drop in the URL, and I'm just going to tighten it up a bit so we don't have the HTTPS /. So I'm just going to say www.sudburytownhomes.com / for sale. I'm just going to get rid of the .html. So it's nice and clean, very simple. I'm just going to space this out a bit so it's nice and balanced. And then in the headline, I'm just going to reinforce the same call to action. So I'm going to say, sign up here to receive the listing.
See how you're holding people's hand? You're telling them exactly where
And
to
the
click.
reason I'm going to do that is because I want to hit them on both sides of this ad, on the top and the bottom. Sometimes people's attention goes to the top of the ad, sometimes it goes to the bottom of the ad. So I want to cover both bases. And I'm going to change this button from learn more to sign up. So that way everything is consistent and they know exactly what to expect when they click on this ad. They're going to have to sign up to receive the listing, so there's no confusion. So that's pretty much it. Stunning King West Town Home for sale. Want to receive a listing? Just click here. Sign up here to receive the listing. And
You're using
another
title
exclamation
case as well.
point. Just to,
Sorry?
You're using title, you're using all caps like at the start of each word, is that?
Yeah, I mean, just like the title etiquette, right? Capitalizing each word. And I put stunning in all caps because, again, you want to highlight the emotionally charged words. It's really powerful in advertising. What most people do is they just say 3-bedroom, 2-washroom, townhome, here's the price. It's boring. What is it about this prop? Like, this renovation was incredible, right? It really was stunning. Like, it jumped off the page. What's the wow factor? Every property, not every property, most properties.
The ones you're gonna be advertising on Facebook.
Exactly, exactly.
No photos in this one.
Right. Ideally, the property has something, if it's tenanted, that's a little trickier. But the cool thing is, guys, these don't necessarily have to be your listings. If you get permission from the listing agent, you can promote their listings. I've done that successfully. I had another agent from another brokerage. He had a listing in my farm, and he's a great guy. And I reached out to him and said, hey, would you mind if I advertised your listing on Facebook? He said, sure. So I put together an ad, and I created a landing page, and I ended up showing them the property. I generated a few leads. One of them saw the property. He didn't like it, but he ended up buying something for, like, instead of $800,000 for the townhome, he ended up buying in Cabbagetown for 1.3. So as long as you get written permission, you know, you can leverage other agents' listings, and it's really a win-win. So keep that in mind.
keep the energy up, that excitement, get people emotionally fired up. And this is the ad. So I'll show you what this video will look like.
So this is just a video tour. It's not about me, it's just about the home. Because I'm not like, I brand myself when they get to the site, but in terms of the ad itself, I just wanted to focus on the listing. So basically it's just a straightforward video tour, some cool music, and it pops, you know, it looks good.
It pulls somebody in, leaves them wanting more, because there's no information. It's just a video, and in order for them to learn more, they have to follow the steps I've laid out for them. So this is what it looks like in the mobile news feed for Facebook. We can also see what it'll look like on the news feed if they're on their computer, so the desktop news feed. And then we can see what it'll look like on Instagram as well. So if we select the Instagram feed, here's what it'll look
So you
like.
can preview it on all the different devices.
So once you're done, you're just going to scroll down. And again, we're not going to select the pixel because I'm going to cover that later. So deselect the pixel, make sure that that's off. And then you're going to hit confirm. And there you go. That's how you set up a video ad on Facebook.
So what do you guys think? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
So that's one example. I have multiple examples in the course. Just wanted to give you guys sort of an overview.
So when we are like posting someone else's listing, we can ask for the multimedia as well, like pixel.
Yes, exactly. So ask for their photos. Ideally, they're good quality, high resolution,
Yeah.
or if they have a video. And then some agents won't be comfortable with that, which is fine. But most of them that I've reached out to have been happy to help promote their listing, just get more exposure. Just make sure you get permission.
Do you have to credit them though on any of your ads? Like listing from Sage Real Estate?
I don't think so, but that would be something to confirm with Rico.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Jason, like in your this case, like on this app, you have the link. So once they click on the link, so you choose traffic, so there's a link, they click and they put the information, you get the leads.
Yes.
But there's a second option like where you have to return like sign up. Now when they click on the sign up, seems like there's two options. Either you get the leads and you have to go through some Facebook process, which is a little bit messy.
Yes.
You have to download some software.
Yes.
something
I
like
show you, thank you for that, that's a good point. I show you how to do that as well in my course. That's called Facebook lead generation ads, and basically you don't need a website. It captures their information directly within Facebook. So there's a form that actually pre-populates their name, their email address, and their phone number in some cases, and all they have to do is hit submit. The problem with that is then you have to go inside of Facebook to retrieve the contact information. However, there's a way to set up automation, so it pulls that information and automatically imports it into your database. And I show you how to do that step by step in my program as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons. If you have a landing page, then you kind of qualify the more serious people because they have to actually stop and think about what they're doing. You know, they go on a website, they have to look at what your message is, they have to physically type in their name, their email address, and their phone number.
Yeah.
With the Facebook lead generation, you're gonna get more leads, but it's almost too easy. All they do is click a button. Lots of people don't even know what they're signing up for. There's lots of people on the internet that are just kind of click happy, like they see something, it's colorful, it looks great, okay, and you're paying for that, right? So I have usually preferred to create a landing page, so someone has to stop, look at what they're doing, think about what they're doing, physically put in their information, right? So they know what they're signing up for.
I think for pre-constructions and all, if you have a photo or video, I think that lead generation might work better because they see something and they.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't tested that with pre-construction, but we did very, very well with, I'll show you quickly an example of a pre-construction landing page. And I used the exact same format. We did over 3 dozen deals with various projects, about 2,800 leads with the landing page. But I know other agents have done very well without a landing page. Here's a quick example of a pre-construction landing page and how it looks. I walk you through this in my program as well.
So here's another example of a landing page, but this one is promoting a pre-construction high-rise building. So you'll immediately notice the same style and layout.
I'm not going to walk through this whole video because I still want to cover Google AdWords and I want to protect everyone's time. But basically, you're making the initial offer to get them excited. So everybody wants exclusivity, everybody wants VIP, and everyone wants good pricing. That's what captures their attention. And then this is the tangible offer that I'm making to someone. Complete the form below to receive a free price list and floor plans. This has worked incredibly well with my partners and I. So I just kept rinsing and repeating the exact same wording. I would just build individual landing pages depending on the project. And then I have information here about the project, so I would put in some info about the finishes, the property, the builder, and this was really effective. But yes, you can do what you're suggesting. That would be great as well. So I talk about both in my program.
What's it cost to build a landing page?
This is only about $7 a month American. It's like 10 bucks,
cheap.
10 bucks a month.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's.
But that's per website. So
right.
I was creating, when I was doing a lot of pre-construction with my partners, I was setting up individual one-off landing pages. So I was paying for all of those individually. But with my other website, which is Sudbury Townhomes, because this is a farm area, I can create sub-pages within this site, and I'm still only paying for one site. So if I'm promoting, like we send out flyers, and you can mix online with offline. So what we've done is we've sent out flyers, wondering what your Sudbury Street townhome is worth, just sold. Go to sudburytownhomes.com in the flyer, and then they pull up the site, and this is the offer. Just complete the form below. So you can mix online with offline. And then this is the listing that I currently have. So this is an example of, you can have multiple landing pages within a farm. Let's say you're branding High Park or the Junction. You can have like dailyjunctionhomes.com. So you're only paying for that one site, but then you can have multiple landing pages promoting different listings. But I created standalone landing pages for the pre-construction projects because I wanted to create more of a feeling of exclusivity, that they were one-off individual projects. Does that make sense?
And is that through Weebly?
This is Weebly, yes.
Your landing pages are through Weebly?
Yes.
Okay.
And Wix is another good one, W-I-X. It's about the same price. Weebly's been great, I've stuck with it, but Wix is also good. So, I've still got a lot to cover. Are you guys okay sticking around until 3 o'clock? Sure. Okay, great. So, that's Facebook. What do you guys think of Facebook? Pretty exciting? Pretty powerful. So, next we're going to talk about this little company. Now, there is a misconception that you have to have a fortune and you have to spend years of your life to get on the first page. And I'm here to show you that that's not the case. Okay? So, what is Google AdWords? So Google AdWords, as I've touched on before, is ads that are shown when people search for something on Google. So the common expression, Googling something. It's based on keyword research to see what specific words people are using in their search. Okay? So what are people physically typing on their keyboard? Is it Hyde Park homes for sale? Is it homes for sale in Hyde Park? Is it Hyde Park real estate? Is it Hyde Park real estate for sale? Is it Hyde Park detached, Hyde Park semis? You have access to all of that information, and I'm going to show you how. So, similar to Facebook, you bid against other advertisers. Instead of bidding against audiences with Facebook, you bid with others on the same keywords. So you're competing with other advertisers on the same keywords or search phrases so that your ads will trigger, okay? And it's also an auction similar to Facebook. Part of it is your bid, and part of it is your relevancy. Facebook calls it a relevancy score, Google calls it a quality score, but it essentially works the same thing on a scale of 1 to 10. That's how you can measure. So to your point earlier, Ernie, the click-through rate tells you how well you're doing, but there's also the quality score and the relevancy score, 10 being the highest. You want to be above 6 for both Google and Facebook. That's another way to gauge how well you're doing.
You had commented on each click costs, like you say, a max of $1, and the price changes.
Yes.
Why does it change? How does that?
Because there's always, the competitive landscape is always changing. There's new people competing against you.
That's the, I see.
Right?
Okay, gotcha.
And then, sometimes your ads will be more receptive one week, less receptive another week, because the audience changes. But there are certain things to just watch, right? The click-through rate, and then the relevancy score and the quality score. Try and keep it over 6, and that's when you know you're doing pretty well. That's how you know you're on track. So, pay-per-click, just like Facebook, you pay when someone clicks on your ad. The performance is based on bid and relevancy, as I said, and ads can be shown in Google search, which is what I focus on entirely, or there's something called the display network, which is affiliated sites like shopping, travel, but I don't recommend that. I just focus on Google search. Because the display network is not people actively looking. It's people with similar interests, but the real power in Google is the search. So why advertise on Google? Well, think about it this way. You're targeting people that are already looking. They're already hunting for information. And you're just putting yourself in the line of fire and leading a path to your door. That's pretty amazing. That's exactly what you do with Google AdWords. Google is the #1 search engine that's not changing anytime soon. They're a household name. You can reach the top very quickly versus SEO, which is challenging and takes a long time. And you can see what people are searching for. So you have this incredible information available to you. Just like Facebook, it's a reward system. The better your ads perform, the less you spend, and it's highly measurable. So creating a Google ad. First, you want to research the keywords to know what terms people use when they're Googling homes. You want to bid on those keywords. And then you want to incorporate those keywords in your ads, especially the headline. So if the highest traffic key phrase is junction homes for sale, you want to have your headline be verbatim, junction homes for sale. That's what people are searching for, and boom, that's what your ad is entitled. It's going to grab someone's attention. And Google will reward you for relevancy when you use the keywords in your ad itself. Use negative keywords to guard against irrelevant clicks. With Facebook, you can decide who you don't want to show your ads to. For example, in Facebook, I don't work with tenants, pretty much. I've decided, made a business decision a few years ago. So when I'm doing my ads on Facebook, I have guards against people that are interested in rentals, right, or leasing. With Google, you can have negative keywords for like rent, lease, for rent, for lease, so you don't attract those people. So think of it like a barrier that you're putting up. You don't want to spend money on those people clicking on your ads. You want to tightly separate your ad group. So you want to cluster your similar keywords together in what's called an ad group. Think of it like a hierarchy. So you have your campaign at the top, and then you have themes. Let's say you're going after junction homes. You want a junction homes for sale, junction houses for sale, junction real estate for sale. That becomes its own ad group. Then you might want to have junction condos. And although there's not many, there's going to be a few. That's going to be a separate ad group. Junction condos for sale, condos in the junction for sale. You want to group them together, and that's how the campaign is structured. And you want to match your landing pages with that ad group. So anyone that's searching junction homes for sale or junction houses for sale, you want to create a junction homes landing page with agent locator, something similar. So you're only going to show them those homes that they're searching for. Does that make sense? Or if it's Hyde Park homes, or if it's Swansea, you want to separate them, right? You want to niche out the neighborhoods. So people are getting, you're scratching people exactly where they itch. Okay, so that's what works incredibly well with Google, and I'll show you an example. You want to use the search terms to see what terms actually triggered your ads. So not only can you see what terms people are searching for, you can see once your campaign is up and running, what search terms actually triggered your ads, and then that way you can see what's working, what's not, where you have to adjust, and just measure, measure, measure. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of Google AdWords. So I'm going to flip back to the course, and here we have the Google AdWords section, which is about 3 hours of content. And I'm going to show you the keywords. Now this is really the most important part of the campaign. Where's your washroom?
It's just a
Okay, I'm going to jump out for a second. Enjoy this video, guys.
Jason, can you open the door, leave the door open?
Sure.
It's in here.
It's a little warm in here. What's going on?
Just a quick question, do you find that Google calls you a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Because I use it for my other business.
Do you? Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is.
Your internet.
My connections. Okay. Sorry guys, give me a second. There we go.
So I'm going to walk you through the most powerful part of Google AdWords first, so you can really grasp how critical this stage of your campaign is. And that's the keyword planner. Everything rises and falls with your keywords. Keywords are the actual words or phrases that people are typing into Google that you want to be able to isolate and then reverse engineer. So in other words, you want to begin with the end in mind. You want to see what the most high traffic keywords and key phrases are, and then build your campaign backwards so that you can cater to that traffic. So this is the opposite of if you build it, they will come. This is like you know they're coming because you're doing the research and then you're building it backwards. So that's really important to understand with Google AdWords. That's what makes Google AdWords a marketer's dream come true, because of the data that you have access to. So it takes the guesswork out of it. You can really understand where the traffic is coming from and reverse engineer your campaign. So from the overview page, this is the home page, we're going to click this little tool icon on the top menu and go over to Keyword Planner. Now this part is where you're just going to enter the first key phrase or keyword that you're interested in analyzing. So you want to see how many people are searching this particular phrase. So I'm going to use Mississauga, which is a residential neighborhood just west of Toronto, as an example. So let's say we're curious to see how many people are typing in Mississauga homes for sale. So we're going to click Get Started. And now if we scroll down, this tells us, the first result, that on average, 4,400 people every month are typing in Mississauga homes for sale. It also tells us that the competition is high and that the top of the page bid, so to get to the top of the first page of Google in the search results, on the low end of that range, it's 55 cents, and on the top end of that range, it's $1.99. This also tells us that similar key phrases, like houses for sale in Mississauga, generate even more average monthly searches. So this one has 9,900 average monthly searches. The competition is high again, but this is where it gets interesting. It's almost the exact same range for the bids. So from 54 cents to $1.20, but you're getting almost twice the traffic. Instead of 4,400 monthly searches, we're getting 9,900. So we're getting twice the opportunity, essentially, for roughly the same cost. And that's what's really powerful about this as well, is that you start with one keyword or key phrase, and then it gives you suggestions. So things you would never even thought of are now suggested. This is something that is really critical to understand, doing the keyword research and having this data. And we can sort by any of these categories. So we can sort by average monthly searches if we just click on the top. Now, this is very generic. This is just houses for sale, real estate. The rule of thumb is the more generic.
Just want to jump in here. So you see how houses for sale and real estate has 74,000 average monthly searches? And that might sound like the holy grail, but the problem with that, back to my earlier point, is that those people, they don't really know what they're looking for. Like, think about the mindset of someone that's Googling real estate or homes for sale. Right? What does that mean, right? That's a big range. So even though they're really cheap, they're only 28 cents on the low end to get to the first page of Google. I personally would not want to pay for those things because I have before. I've tried that. And it's more work than it's worth. Many of them are underqualified. They don't know where they want to be. Versus someone that's typing in house for sale in Brampton, right? It's only a little bit more. It's 41 cents on the low end compared to 28 cents. But you're still getting 18,100 searches. And that person is more specific. They know where they want to be. So you see the power of this stuff. It's pretty amazing. Now, they made a change recently. They don't show you the specific average monthly number until you start spending money on Google's platform. They'll give you a range when you first sign up. So it'll be like 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to, I think, 50,000, 50,000 to 100. And then once you start spending, they'll open up this data. The reason they made that change is because people were just using Google for this data and not actually paying. So that was a recent change, but you still have a really good indication of where the traffic is and how to kind of focus on specific searches.
The key phrase or the keywords, the more traffic you'll have. And the more specific the key phrase or the keyword, the less traffic you have. However, it's good to be somewhere in the middle where you could still get a decent amount of monthly traffic, but you're specific enough that you're really targeting these phrases. Because you have to think about the mindset of a buyer that's typing in houses for sale or real estate. What does that mean? That's incredibly vague. And in my experience, because I've tested these types of keywords, the leads tend to be of much lower quality. Even though you're going to get a lot more of them, the quality is going to suffer because these people don't know where they want to live. Houses for sale can mean $2 million home in Forest Hill, or it can mean $200,000 teardown in Mississauga, and anything in between. It's too generic, it's too vague. So that buyer doesn't know what they want. It's extremely preliminary. Versus someone that's typing in house for sale in Brampton, which still has 18,100 average monthly searches, is much more specific because they're telling you that they want house number one as opposed to a condo, and number two, that they want to be in Brampton.
So I'm not going to go through this entire video just to get through the rest of the content, but you guys get the point. This is a really powerful tool and method because you're going with the grain instead of against it. You know, you're putting your message in front of people that are already searching for something, as opposed to knocking on doors. I've knocked on doors and, you know, it's brutal. Like, it works if you do it long enough and if you can hang in there. But I always hated feeling of getting rejected, of going against the grain. With this, you're going with the grain, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's really, really effective. I did Google AdWords for 2.5 years before I even touched Facebook ads because it worked so well and I was getting such a good return on investment that I just kept going. So it's been really, really great, and it's very, very effective. So that's the starting point of Google AdWords. And you want to see where is the traffic coming from, what are the sweet spots, what are the phrases, and then what you do is you bid on these key phrases, okay, just like how you bid on an audience for Facebook. Now, the next thing is, once you have your campaign up and running, there's a way to actually ensure that you get on the first page of Google, and that's something that's really exciting. I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to jump ahead to another video, which is called How to Rank Higher on Google and Test Your Positioning.
So now I'm going to show you one of the most powerful parts of Google AdWords, which is how to actually see what the minimum bids are to get to the first page of Google and how to adjust your cost per click accordingly so that you can get to the top spots on the first page of Google. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the ad screen and go to keywords. So on the left hand side, just scroll over to keywords. Now these are all the keywords in my campaign. And you can see right away that the first one, buy condo Mississauga, actually tells me below first page bid, and that the first page bid price, cost per click, is $1.84. So basically, what this tells you is the minimum that you need to bid in order to get to the first page of Google. Now, this isn't a guarantee, this is a gauge. It depends on something called your quality score, which basically is a number on a scale of 1 to 10 that Google assigns for how relevant your keywords are and how tightly grouped they are, how well your ads are corresponding to your keywords, your landing page experience, etc. So Google looks at the whole equation, but this gives you a good idea of roughly where you need to be. So what I'm going to do is just take these minimum bids, and I'm going to go a little bit above because I don't just want to appear anywhere on the first page. My goal is to be in the top 4 spots. That really is the prime real estate, literally, of Google. You want to be not just on the first page, but ideally in the first 4 spots, because obviously when people are searching for something, they're more likely to respond to the first few results on the first page of Google rather than scroll down the page. And if you're not on the first page, you're unlikely to reach that many people. I mean, not many people, generally speaking, make it to the second page of Google. So you always want to be on the first page.
They tell you the first page bid price. So I'm at $1 because that's where I always start my campaigns. Maximum cost per click of $1. The first key phrase, buy condo Mississauga, is saying to me that I need to be at $1.84. So what I'm gonna do is change it a little higher to like 195, and I'm gonna just go through all of these. If it's already showing eligible, that means I'm already on the first page. If it shows that I'm in green. So I'm just gonna look at the ones that are in red that need to be adjusted. So I'm gonna go to the next one that recommends 131, and I'm gonna change it to, what is that, 150? Yeah, 150. So I'm just gonna go a little bit higher because I wanna be on the top ideally. So I'm going through all of them one at a time. Now, I don't work in Mississauga. This was a campaign that I created live for the purposes of this demonstration. I'm not running these ads currently, but this shows you what happens now once you make these changes. So what I'm gonna do now is see where I'm actually positioned. So there's a simulator inside Google AdWords where you don't have to Google yourself, because if you Google yourself, if you type in buy condo Mississauga, every time your ad shows and somebody does not click, your relevancy drops. And you don't want to click on your own ad because then you're going to spend your own money on your own ad, right? You're not going to sell yourself a home. So this gives you a simulator tool to see, it simulates the actual search to see where you're ranking, which is really cool.
Hover over status, and I'm going to click on Ad Preview and Diagnosis. And this actually simulates what someone would be typing into Google. So you see where you're ranking in the search results. Boom. #1 on the first page of Google.
See, that's my site.
That's my ad right there. So the first spot, condos for sale in Mississauga, instant access to MLS listings, virtual tours, walk scores, street view, and more. So let's go back and try the next one. So this one is condominium for sale in Mississauga. So I'm going to click Ad Preview and Diagnosis. And for this one, I'm on the bottom of the first page. Oh, I'm still on the first page, so that's good.
So you can just test them one by one
2 for 2
and see where you're ranking in real time.
Let's try this one. Condos for sale in Mississauga.
So again, it takes the guesswork out of it. It's really powerful because it tells you what you need to adjust.
So how often would you run these tests?
Bottom of the first page.
So you want to keep track of your positioning. Sometimes you'll start to slip. Sometimes you'll start to climb too.
Like once a week? Or
When
is that not-
you're starting, I would check in a few times a week, like
Okay.
every other day.
Okay,
Once you get better at it, then your ads can come for longer periods of time.
got it.
Like, I'm at the point where I just check in like maybe once a week, and I'm good with that. But I'm also kind of obsessive, so you know, you don't have to always be eyeballing it.
It's your passion.
It is passion.
Morning coffee and Google.
Yeah,
something,
yeah, exactly.
right?
You got
Yeah.
it. That's my morning routine,
Got it.
right? But I mean, it's quick. Like literally, you just jump into your account, you run a quick test, you see that you're still holding position, and then you're good. And then you want to track like your click-through rates, like I mentioned before, right? The number of times people are clicking on your ads divided by the number of times your ads are shown. That's the same for Facebook and Google.
Okay.
The good thing is once you learn the fundamentals, you'll see that there's a similarity between both platforms. They essentially operate the same way. And then your cost per lead, your cost per click. But yeah, you don't have to, like I would say 2-3 times a week in the beginning, and then eventually you can get to like twice a week, once a week. But don't just set it and forget it. You definitely need to keep an eye on it. But you can hold your position for a while. Like you might shift 1 or 2 spots, but you can, if you hit the sweet spot and you're getting consistent traction, you can hold your position
Top of
for
the first page.
sometimes months
Number
or
1
even
spot.
longer. So this one's top of the first page. Condos for sale, Mississauga.
Let's do detached homes for sale.
And that's just a
in
landing
Mississauga.
page that you've created.
So these are the ads themselves, and then I've created a landing page with an agent locator. So basically, that's the next part of the course. If you go back into my Finding Toronto Home website, wherever the Mississauga page is, it's somewhere here, but it would just look like this, right?
Right.
And then what you do is you define which listings will populate. Sort of like Trev, you just choose, you can draw a map or you can choose the districts, right? So that it'll only pull the listings for Mississauga. And then that becomes the landing page where you're directing people
Okay.
from Google. So see how the pieces start to connect and everything is, there's a methodology here, right? That's why it's learnable. So I'm not going to go through the whole video, but you get the idea. Very powerful stuff. These are the two most important elements of Google. In my program, I walk you through how to design the ads, how to create a compelling headline, how to create a call to action, how to really thoroughly diagnose different keyword variations. There's something called keyword types, broad match, phrase match, exact match. I walk you through best practices. This is just the sort of the heart of what makes it work. So that's Google AdWords. How are we doing on time? So quickly I'm going to talk about email marketing. So email marketing is the other half. The first half is lead generating. And now it's like, well, what do we do with these leads, right? We've got all these leads in our database. How do we convert them? As I said before, nothing replaces the phone. In my opinion, today, the phone is still king. It's number one. Email marketing, however, is incredibly effective because what it does is it creates top of mind with a large volume of people, right? You can send emails one-off to, you know, a couple dozen clients, but once you start to build this out, you need to have automation in place. So with email marketing, you want to create conversational style emails. Think of it like the mom test. Would you talk to your mom that way? That's what works for email marketing. You don't want to have any corporate speak. You don't want to be overly formal. Email marketing works when it's light, it's conversational, short, and sweet. Okay? The whole point is to get a response. So you don't want to have these long, dry emails. You want to have open-ended questions. Okay? Asking, hey, how's your search going? Did you get the listings? What else were you looking for? Is there any other criteria that I can specify in your custom search? When were you looking to move? Right? You want to check in and always end with open-ended questions. Once you get a response, then you elevate that conversation to the phone. But this is a great way to break the ice. So you have to be able to automate this stuff, and I teach you how to do that. What that means is you pre-write a series of emails that work for people that are passively looking online, and those emails get scheduled. So they go out automatically, as I showed you with my first example. The first one goes out when they initially sign up, thanking them, and then they receive the automated follow-up. In the beginning, you want to email more frequently. In the first 10 days, you want to email them as soon as they register, the next day, the following day, or 2 days after that, and then slowly start to space them out. Because you want to email them more often when there's momentum, when it's fresh, right? And then you just want to kind of space them out so you're not overdoing it. Some people will unsubscribe, but most of them will not. I have a very low unsubscribe rate. And don't stop before the miracle happens. I had one campaign running for 2 years, and it worked. So I built up all these emails. You don't have to do that. That's a little aggressive, but I just wanted to really build it up for the long haul. And you know, you'll get a response like 8 months later out of the blue, like, hey, thanks for checking in. I've been busy. This is what I'm looking for, and then you just engage. So that becomes the icebreaker.
When are you doing your phone call?
Right away. So great question. I'm calling them right away. I mean, I pulled over on the highway. I don't recommend that. I stopped dinner with my girlfriend. Like, I was really aggressive in the beginning. I wanted to really give this a go, and I was very diligent with the follow-up. The faster you get in touch with someone on the phone, the higher your chances of converting. But you don't necessarily have to. I mean, life happens if you're busy with showings or you're with your family. The reason this is great is because it still makes that strong first impression because it contacts them immediately. It acknowledges them, right? So people acknowledge that this is the first email, right? Thank you for visiting my site. It's great that you're thinking of owning a property. I specialize in working with buyers. This is my area of expertise. My goal is to ensure that you receive unusually good service. I'll be staying in touch with you to see how you're finding the listings, to make any adjustments, and to help you through the next steps. Hope you're having a great day. Look forward to assisting you. The next email would go out the following day. Now, this is assuming I haven't contacted them on the phone yet. I'm trying to contact them, but let's say I haven't been able to connect with someone. I've set them up on Auto Prospect Match, similar to Trev, but Agent Locator has a more comprehensive automated daily search because you have mortgage calculators, street views, you can book a showing, so it's a lot more advanced than Trev. So then the next day, they've already started to receive the first batch of listings, depending on what they signed up for. If they signed up for a King West Condos ad, they're going to receive King West Condo listings because I can track which ad they responded to. So now I'm following up, and it populates their first name automatically. So it'll say, "Hi John, I'm following up to see if you've received the listings I sent. If you'd like to modify your search or view any of the homes, just let me know." And then the next one would be a couple days later. "John, you should now be receiving emails of homes or condos that match your search criteria. To get the best results, should we include any of the following? Bedrooms, number of bathrooms, finished basement. What other important features must you have?" You see how I'm ending each email with a question? I'm trying to engage them. So get comfortable with your CRM. Lead contact information needs to be automatically imported. Always schedule follow-up tasks and reminders so you know what your next point of contact is. The lead should be tagged by motivation, hot, medium, cold, time frame, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 12 months plus, etc. So you know who to follow up with, you know how to prioritize. Triggers should be set up so that, as I mentioned, the emails go out automatically when contact is made. And a good CRM allows you to track who is active. So viewing listings, seeing who's responsive, who's opening emails. It's really helpful because then you can gauge where they're at, if they've been listening, if they've been receptive to you. And you need to receive a text or an email notification when someone registers. And that's out of the box, that's how most CRMs work. Don't juggle multiple CRMs, keep it simple and use one. So I'm going to quickly show you an example of video email marketing, which is really cool, using BombBomb. So now I'm in the email marketing and automation section of the course. And I'm just going to jump through to the middle of this video. And this one is not moving. It's weird. My connection's a little choppy. Here we go. Sorry guys, I don't know why. Never had an issue with these videos.
That's the internet, sir.
It must be. Have you guys had, is it choppy?
Yes, mine went out briefly here.
Did it? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you were talking the last time. So
Give me 1 second. Oh, I know what we can do. We can go back. Okay, guys, here we
Do you
go.
ever find people not liking the video emails?
Not liking them?
Yeah.
If they don't like them, they don't tell me that. I'm sure I don't float everyone's boat.
Yeah.
But we're focused on the people that we match with.
Yeah,
right?
for
'Cause
sure.
the thing with video is you're going to attract your people. That's what I like about it, right? Okay, let me try this. This should work. You're going to attract your people
Okay, so now,
that
email
you want to work with, that resonate with you.
settings, dog.
So basically I pre-recorded a bunch of these small videos in a service called BombBomb, and then I build them into an email sequence. So it's the same thing as the text emails, but in a video version.
The text email format, but in a video. So this is what the first one looks like.
You guys hear that? It's kind of quiet, but basically I'm just saying the same thing. Just checking in, wondering how your search is going. I'd love to be able to help you. And this is really powerful because people, they feel like there's a person behind the agent, right? And they're going to be like warming up to you from a distance. And then when you call them the next time, they're going to be a lot more receptive to answer that call. So guys, that is basically the presentation. In summary, your landing page is your first stop. Function over forms, opt-in forms are everything. Make sure that all the pieces are set up before spending money. Start with a small budget. If you're not getting results, adjust, test, and repeat. Tackle one step at a time and get really comfortable with one platform before moving on. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the course, if you guys are okay with that, and just more details about how you can jump in for anyone that's interested. So this is the course itself. So my company and my training program is called Future Proof Agent. So this is a quick run through of the course itself.
Hi everyone, Jason Weinberger here with Future Proof Agents. I thought I'd take you on a quick tour just to show you under the hood how everything looks and what you can expect in the program. So the program consists of 2 courses. The Future Proof Agent course, which is the main one, online lead generating and converting for real estate professionals. And then I've included a bonus course called Going Paperless with the iPad. And this is all about how to use cutting edge apps to make your real estate business completely paperless. So when you sign up, you get a username and a password, and there's a login portal where you log in to access the content anytime, and you get lifetime access to all of the content and videos. So I'm going to jump into Future Proof Agent now and give you a quick tour. The course is broken up into categories or modules. So you have Introduction, the fundamentals, the landing page, Facebook ads, Google AdWords, email marketing and automation, and course wrap-up. There's a total of 81 videos between both courses, 77 videos in Future Proof Agent, and 4 videos in Going Paperless with the iPad, and over 10 hours of content in total. So it's really easy to navigate, it's really well organized. The fundamentals is the bird's eye view, just showing you sort of the top-down principles and concepts, why digital marketing, online lead generating, mythbusters, budgeting, Facebook ads versus Google AdWords. And when you click on each topic, it jumps right into the video. And just like YouTube, you can pause, rewind, fast forward, you can full screen, and just work at your own pace. So it's super easy to use. It's all instructional, step-by-step style. And then under each video, you have a comment section, so you can leave comments, there's ongoing support, and there's a real community that gets built up. When people ask questions, you start to help each other out, and it's a real sort of mastermind that organically develops. And there's also a private Facebook group where I'm available for support anytime, 24/7. So once you're done a particular video, you just hit complete, and that way, sort of like a bookmark if you're reading a book. It helps you stay on track, and then you can just move on and pick up where you left off. So you have all the videos for that particular topic on the right, so you can just jump through to another video quickly, or you can access the menu from the top up here, so you can go back to categories. So if we jump into Facebook ads, there's quite a bit here. It's very comprehensive. Ads manager, targeting, placements, budgeting, creating a video ad, a photo ad, pre-construction ad, lead gen ad, and then you have some more advanced targeting, custom audiences, lookalike audiences. The videos range anywhere from 8 to 20 minutes. I'd say the average is about 10. And everything is shot in high definition with really high quality sound, so it's really easy to follow along. You can really just chip away at your own pace. It's best if you follow everything in order, but if you get stuck on a particular video, you can always jump ahead to the next one and then come back to it. So there you go, that's a quick tour of the course. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can email me at info@futureproofagent.com, or you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, and just reach out with a direct message anytime. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thanks a lot.
So that's the course itself. Now, I have a private Facebook support group that I personally manage because I don't want to just sell you guys a course and then you're off on your own. I'm really committed to your results, because if you don't get results, then I don't have a business. So this is the community. I have 39 members currently in the course. I launched about 7.5 months ago. And whenever you get stuck, just screenshot where you're at, show me your numbers, show me what the problem is. I go in there, I don't log into your account, but I help you troubleshoot it, right? So this is one of my students. He was getting leads the first few days, and then things started to slow down. So he asked me to look at his account so I could troubleshoot. And then I told him that your landing page needs to be not as aggressive. His message was reserve your suite now. It was pre-construction. I said that doesn't work because that's like dating before you talk, right? You have to start with a soft offer. It's like sign up to receive the prices and floor plan. So I helped him out, you know, and he was appreciative. He got the results he was looking for. Whenever someone's has any issues, this is the service and support group. So I'm personally managing it. I do monthly live stream group coaching calls as well. So I do it once a month. As the community builds, I'm going to be doing it every other week, where anyone just comes in, asks questions, tells me where they are, what their campaign goals, their objectives. I help everyone through that as well. There's no phone support, but there's email support and then support through the Facebook group. So that's kind of on the support end in the course itself. Now, as far as the price, so the public price that's advertised on my site, if anyone finds me online, is $14.97. That's a one-time payment. There's no monthly cost, okay? And that's basically, it's Canadian dollars plus HST. Now, I do something called like a private video workshop where I offer a $500 discount. So from $14.97, it's $9.97. It's for 11 days only. It's an online video workshop that walks you through different states, different training and different modules. Some of the stuff I didn't cover today, that's $9.97. But I also have a special group rate because I've been doing these presentations all over the GTA. So I've spoken in front of a few Royal LePage offices, Keller Williams. I'm going up to KW Mississauga in a couple of weeks, right at home. And in the group rates, I offer an additional savings of $749. Okay, so the catch is it's today only. It expires tonight at 12 o'clock because I can't have this rate floating around in the public. I need to be fair to everyone. So it's an opportunity to basically get the course for 50% off at half price. So anyone that's interested, I'd love to help you with your online lead generating. I've had great feedback. I have testimonials from several of my students talking about their results and how it's worked for them. This is the special page for the office, so it's futureproofagent.com/KWNR, where you have more information about exactly what's included, the testimonials, and then you can actually sign up on that page itself. So the offer is open until 12 o'clock tonight, and I'd love to help some of you. Is anyone feeling like they're ready to move forward today and get started?
I feel like with Ryan's help, we can move forward.
Okay.
He's like the brains behind it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm counting on you.
I'm on
Yeah.
board with this, so.
Awesome, that's great. I'd love to help you guys. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you for having me. This is something that's really changed my life and my business. Quick story, I love traveling. That's my biggest passion. Anyone that knows me or has me as a Facebook friend. I spent about 2 months in Europe for the last 5 years. And this has enabled me to do that through passive income and through just building my own business as well. It's really freed me up to have like sort of a lifestyle business where I'm not necessarily on the ground working with people. I have referral partnerships. You can leverage this stuff. It's really a big opportunity, and it's only getting more and more important in today's online everything world. And it's a really good skill set. You know, you can hire a marketing company, but you're at their mercy, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know how effectively your advertising dollars are being utilized. And that's really what drove me to learn this stuff myself, because I didn't want to be at the mercy of someone else. I wasn't really happy with the results. I wanted to understand it and take control. And that's exactly what I did. And I basically consolidated all of my knowledge over the last 5 years and put it into a real estate context. When I first got started, there were no online lead generating teachers or gurus. I had to learn the hard way. It was all through experience, figuring out what works, what doesn't. I really failed my way forward until I found some really successful strategies. And honestly, I haven't held anything back. I've put it all into the course because I'm invested in your success. That's the only way that a training business works. So thank you so much, guys. I'll send you the presentation. Did everyone fill out the sign-in form? Awesome. So I'll send you the presentation along with this, this page so you can take a closer look at it for anyone that's interested. I'd love to have you in the program, and thanks very much again for your time.
Thank you.
Any questions? If you guys want to chat afterwards, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
No, no. Thanks.
Well, yeah, like this is just my notepad, and that's just I certified for a software.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, this is that was exactly what. Yes, I've got it here.
Yeah, I don't do it myself, but I teach it how to do it. So it's all step-by-step instruction, how to actually build one.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Awesome, that's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Okay, great. That's good. Thanks a lot.
That was great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel kind of privileged that I almost feel like you're picking his brain. Like you get to know, like, oh, I'm glad you went through all the pain.
I did.
And,
It was a long road. Someone had to do it.
It's the best way to learn.
It is, exactly.
It really is. That's what
Exactly.
we've taught our kids. Like it's the best way. Like don't look at it as a negative.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because this business happened by accident. I never planned on doing this, but the demand continued to grow, and I saw a real need in the market. I've always been passionate about advertising and you know, tech, but I was never tech savvy. I was never like a tech expert. Like I studied sociology.
Yeah, you're kind of like yeah.
I just found it fascinating, and I saw the power of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just went through it. It was literally 5 years in the making, and then people just kept approaching. I'm like, you know what? There's something.
Yeah, I'm exhausted answering your questions, and I want to make money. Make a business. But
that's
great.
how some of the best businesses are created, I think, out of like just circumstance and just demand.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. I'd love to help some of you guys, and yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. We'll be chatting. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I have an office at like the Keller Williams referred urban office, but I work from home mostly, or I'm just out when I'm playing this. I live downtown, like at Blue Jays Way and Front Street.
So yeah, we do this work on two fronts. Some people want to sort of in the background, the more passive, and then that is what's sort of going aggressive.
And like also.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I can help you a little bit, but I gotta be careful because if I offer to one person, and then it's not really sustainable, right? So if you're in the area, go for a coffee, and I can help you a little bit, but I can't do it on a regular basis, if that's fair. Yeah, just because I have students in the United States also, so I can, I can't physically be everywhere. So it's really an online program. But yeah, I mean, do you live in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you, if you're in there, if you need like a nice downtown office, or like a Starbucks, and I can help you with some basic stuff, but I just can't do it like on a regular basis.
Why do you think that I...
Thank you very much.
Why do you think I think you're right?
Thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I actually signed up for it, and then you emailed me. Oh, you can go to this. I already saw it.
One of the things we want to do.
I'll let you know when, yeah.
One thing maybe I need online but I just said that keep the page with the other stuff as well, like public landing cases.
Basically, since I
It's tough. Doing all the pieces first on the table and then make it complete. So I'm in the process of stage. So maybe I'll start, but I'm not sure I'm doing the right decision for
very well,
here's the thing, there's a 30-day refund window. So if you're not happy with the program for any reason, 30 days, there's a money back guarantee.
You just need the guidance and make sure it will give the results.
Probably.
All our
Yeah.
systems are
Yeah.
this according to I'm in a stage of collecting all the pieces where I'm standing right now and how to maybe jumpstart with this course now. So this is my concern, I'm not sure, I think this is like,
Go to the website and
I'll
let's
get
get this
around
done.
for sure.
Unfortunately, I can't extend the grade past the process just because to the public it would be but if you're, if you're comfortable and if you feel like this is something that you eventually want to invest in, you have lifetime access. So if you invest now, you take advantage of the savings.
There's a
The
lot
material
to
is
it.
not going anywhere. It's going to be ready for you.
But it,
And
once
worst case
you do
scenario,
it,
you
the
do
first time
have
doing it, there's a lot
30-day
to
money
do.
because I want to
Yeah, and then it's,
I want to give you a chance to really try it out for yourself and see if it's the right fit. So, whatever you're comfortable with. I understand the solution, but
With that 997,
yes.
that was online, you will not have access to the material for the 999.
No, you do. You do. It's an online workshop that gives you some free training. Then you have an opportunity to buy the program at a discounted price of $997. But that's only open for 11 days. So from the time you sign up for the free workshop, you have that offer for 11 days. And then after that, it goes to the normal price. I'm going to send all that information in an email. Did you leave me your email address? So I'm going to forward you everything. And just, go with what you're comfortable with.
oh yeah.
Just like one or two steps start to make a start with this, my website doesn't have ideas, it doesn't have online so I need to figure out that. Then I have written on my landing page, not comfortable to make a trade line. These are steps I'm not confident with,
Sure.
but I want to have this
Yeah, think about it. It's a good opportunity to save. If you're confident that you're going to invest eventually, it's
Yeah, I did,
$250.
when I looked at it briefly.
But I can't extend it. Unfortunately, I would love to. But I need to be fair to the public market. Yeah, so give it some thought. I'll send you the details in the email once I get back to my home office in about 40 minutes. And then you can review the site and some testimonials. I have some students that when they started, they didn't have any experience with online marketing. And within 6 to 8 weeks, several of them are getting consistent leads. Some of them are getting leads sooner, but I would say the majority that have actually studied the material and taken it seriously, within 6 to 8 weeks, they're getting those consistent results. And they didn't have prior experience with online marketing or digital advertising. Well, the quality is in the quantity, as I mentioned. Like there are some ways you can control the quality, like if you, through Google AdWords, as I demonstrated, right? So if you bid on key phrases like 2-bedroom King West condo, that's a higher quality lead than downtown condos. So there's ways that I teach you how to control the quality, more targeted approach, exactly. But ultimately, the quality comes from the quantity, just like any other form of prospecting. Door knocking or cold calling. The difference is you're not bothering people, you're not, turning over walls. People are coming to you, right? So it's a warm call, it's not a cold call. Someone signed up to receive information, as opposed to cold calling where no one wants to be contacted. Lots of people get annoyed. I used to cold call for months, I hated it. This is a different dynamic, it's a warm call, right? But yeah, you can see some, I have a bunch of testimonials and comments in the Facebook group.
Okay.
We
signed
Oh,
up.
nice, congratulations,
Yeah.
both of you guys?
Well, Ryan and I work together.
Okay, awesome,
So-
welcome aboard.
Yeah, I open up lock boxes and does everything else.
Fantastic.
The way that our
Congratulations.
setup works.
Pleasure to have you guys in the
Thank
program,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're excited.
That's awesome, me too.
I don't do
It makes you
any
feel like it's not stressful.
online anything.
That's
Yeah,
what
I went to
changed.
Phillips, they
Yeah.
I left and they were
Yeah.
offering wine after. I'm like,
Frankly, it
okay.
was intimidating. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
That was part of
That's
it.
normal to feel that way in the beginning.
Because
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Honestly, you don't
Yeah, it's
have to know
cool.
everything.
I bet
I've
you
included
You
everything I
add to it,
know.
I guess.
Well,
Like,
no, it is,
so-
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
chip
yeah,
away
like
step by
some-
step.
yeah, like a
You
whole
know, you don't have to do everything. You can literally like,
Do it works for you, I guess.
20% is what's gonna give you 80% of your success.
Well, even just having a landing page and advertising, like asking other agents in the area, like you said, that have listings there.
Yeah,
If you, and then you, that's like how you can infiltrate,
Exactly.
really, I would think.
exactly, because I don't do many listings of my own. I'm predominantly a buyer agent. I only do about 4 listings a year.
Yeah, but
So-
you go away on holiday,
Right.
right?
You practically live in Bucharest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, I'm
I think we're
always
Facebook friends,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah, we
maybe
are.
more.
Maybe, I
Yeah,
recognize you.
so you're on vacation a lot, which I'm
Yeah.
envious of.
Thank you.
frankly.
A lot of that came from
And
stuff.
so I think.
Yeah.
I've had success on my own,
Yeah.
like through selling,
Yeah.
but a lot of my ability to travel has come from these partnerships and leveraging and stuff. And just
Yeah.
being more of a passive lead generator for other agents.
Well, you know what's interesting, it makes me think a lot, like so I started my business 12 years ago, I was in Burlington, and I moved my way into the city. But we still have, and not because we try, but it's just relationships in Burlington that still want us involved in their transactions. So this would be something where I could start to just read off them to
Exactly.
someone over there and get a referral.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great.
Franchise.
I hate damn drives.
Right,
It's
now you're
an
thinking,
hour
right,
every
you see
day.
the opportunities that this
Yeah.
creates. It's a
And then it gets
whole
you
other
hyper
world.
local where you wanna be, right?
There's
Yeah.
so many ways to leverage it.
Yeah.
Being a lead aggregate, being farming an area and really penetrating,
Well, I
or just
think that's
servicing.
actually what we're gonna try to do, is that we're going to create a farming area, where you mean that that's going to be our focus, and then everything else is going to be, as we're gonna try to build a team, that we're gonna create those things.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what the approach that a lot of people take with this stuff. Because when you can figure this out, you really control your destiny,
Big time.
right?
Yeah, no, it was exciting. This
Thank
was a
you.
very, very good presentation.
That's great, I appreciate
Like
it.
totally rich in knowledge.
Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
thank you. I put so much work into it,
I
it's
know.
nice to hear.
Well,
That's
it's
really
very
nice.
detail oriented, like
Yes.
it's not,
It's not quick and dirty, it's like,
no, it's
yeah.
like you need to know, like the ins and the outs of it, so it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, well,
Thank
we
you.
were in Recruit Select
I was.
4 or 5 years ago
Yeah.
together, and we talked about this is what you wanted to do
Yeah.
with your business.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
seeing someone actually do it is.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
That's really nice to hear. I'm really excited about it. I love training, I love teaching, I love coaching. It's kind of a passion that I discovered, like, and I've combined it with my passion for marketing.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey, and it's starting to catch on. Got some, my
I don't
first
know.
US customer just
And so I
got
just-
board, so
I
I've
have-
officially entered the US
Wow,
market, which is
nice,
exciting.
nice, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, they see us online on the
Oh, we do.
Facebook, you're
Awesome.
asking questions and screenshots.
Yeah, for sure.
What,
Fire away.
help,
Fire away, that's awesome, guys. Well, I'm excited to have you on board.
Cool,
And
yeah,
please,
Read that.
do your best to convince some of your colleagues to jump into. Once you guys jump in.
When they see the listings coming from
Right, exactly. Once they see the
Like,
results.
what's your secret? I'll be like, I don't cold call, I don't door knock.
I future-proof agent myself.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
It's such a fun